with a little bit of elbow grease, I was able to get it out. So most of these, actually let me put on a glove, since I don't want to dirty my hand and also don't want to get it scratched up. Sorry about that. So I was able to loosen up, you know, all four. And the difficult one is actually the one behind the shocks. As you can see, these bolts are rather long. It takes a little bit of time to get it out. Once you loosen it, it comes out rather easily. Okay, as you can see, so there's a washer, seems like, on each of them, and there's some blue lock, thread lock. So this one and the bottom one, can't even get to it right here. It's the one that is a little bit difficult to get to, but I got the proper ratchet. I was able to loosen it up rather easy. So that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna take this one out and then the other two, and then we'll see how the hub assembly comes out. Okay, I got the 4 screws on the hub assembly off, so I'm trying to see if I could just break this thing out without using a hammer or anything and see if it will come out easily. Voila! And it does come out rather easy, as you can see. So I'm gonna turn this for you. You can hear the grinding noise on this, obviously. Right? So obviously something doesn't seem right. And there's a little bit, looks like, you know, maybe liquid or grease that might have gotten into the assembly. But overall, seems, like you see, this thing is made in the USA versus the one I got is made in China, and there's a little bit of look like condensation of some sort that got in here. So I'm gonna clean out the area on the as you can see right here. Just try to wipe it down, clean it up a little bit, and see we could put the new hub assembly back easily. And if it does, everything will be up and running within an hour. Okay, as you can see, it comes out pretty easily. Later on I'm gonna put some anti-seize, you know, I'm actually gonna put it on the back of you know, the hub assembly all around the edge, so the next time if I ever have to replace it, the unit will come out easily. But in this case it does come out easily too, so, but I'm gonna put some on anyway just in case. Okay, so I just used a paper towel and did a good rub down on this inside to remove some of the debris and dust and residue, and everything seems okay. I'm not gonna put any grease on it because it looks like it never had any grease in it, so I don't want to mess with that. So I'm just gonna leave it as it is, you know, cleaned up, and then I'm gonna put on the new hub assembly and then put everything back together. And this is, I guess, the ABS sensor detector, so everything is in place and it looks good. So I'm gonna put the hub assembly back and then put the wheel back and give it some turn to see, you know, if there's any kind of difference in sound when how the, you know, the hub caliber sounds when I turn it, to see if there's any scratching or rubbing or abrasion kind of noise coming from it, and hopefully everything goes well. And looking at this a little bit further, the old unit, the grease or liquid around this, I think it might be a leak from the inside that is coming out from the bearing assembly. So maybe it is time to replace this. Then again, I don't know. It depends on when I put it back and give it a test drive to see if everything looks good. And this is the old one, you know. You can see the original tire nut bulbs. A bolt looks like stainless steel, and this is black. I guess black stainless steel. I don't know what they are. But in any case, it shouldn't really matter that much. And the unit, as you can see, pretty much the same. There's no damage or anything that I can see, and obviously, like I said, this is made in China, so hopefully it will last. I don't know. It looks like some kind of little dent or something over here. I don't know if you can see this, but I don't know if it will cause any kind of problem once I put it back together, but I guess we'll see. You know, I didn't damage any of this, so in case if something does go wrong, I guess I could still reuse this and put it back in the car if needed. And based on this, everything looks good. So we'll give it a try. Like I said, I'm going to put some anti-seize around this area, so the next time if I need to put it back together, everything will come out easily. And we'll take a look. Okay, so we're ready to put the hub assembly back on. Now that we got everything cleaned up and aligned up, make sure everything looks good. As you can see, you know, everything looks good. Put some anti-seize on it, so I'm going to line up with the hose, screw back in. So I got some, as you can see, blue Loctite, or whatever you call it. This thread locker, the blue one. So make sure that it doesn't come off. So I'm gonna put one on now. Okay, I got the first one in, so I'm gonna continue with the rest. I'm not gonna tighten everything up yet until I get all the 4 bolts onto it. As you can see, I'm gonna put some right on where the thread used to have this glue. As you can see, just pass it right in. I'm going to use this socket over here. It's a 17 millimeter to help out. So I'm not going to tighten the whole thing up yet, so I'm going to give it some turn. So we're going to turn this again, just no sound whatsoever. No sound whatsoever, so I think that's the problem. So I'm going to put the rest of the 2 bolts in. I'm going to tighten it up according to torque, and I'm going to come back and tell you what the torque specs are, okay? So according to the specs, to tighten the hub assembly is actually 72.3 foot-pounds. So I set mine to 72.5 since, you know, it's really not that accurate to get a 72.3. So I'm going to tighten this up. So I set my torque wrench to 72.5, and I'm going to tighten until you hear the click. Okay, that's it. You heard it, right? 72.5 foot-pound. So that's the bottom one. This seems like the most difficult one to get into. It's right next to the shock. So it's kind of in the way. So now I'm gonna do the one on the top, which seems like it's right next to the brake line. That one is kind of difficult too, but it's not really in the way. You get it? So I got the click, as you can hear, on this one, which seems like the most difficult one compared to the bottom because of the way it's positioned. So So I'm gonna finish off the last two. This one is hard too. Okay, there you go. You heard it. Okay, final one. So everything is torque spec, 72.5 foot-pound, and that's what the Honda specs are. So you can see if I turn this, no sound whatsoever, no sound, which is a good sign, no sound. You hear that? I'm gonna see, give it a test drive and then see what happens. Now I'm gonna put back the brake roller and then the caliper and the wheel and then give it a test drive. So let's see how brake cleaner on. Make sure you clean out everything, let it dry, and then I'm gonna put the brake caliper and the pad back on. Okay, now everything is dried up and clean. I did put the two screws back on. Before I put it on, I put some anti-seize so that next time if I need to take it off, it doesn't have any problems. And as you can see, no sound, even with the brake roller on. So now I'm going to put the brake caliper back on and the brakes and see if everything still sounds good. Okay, it went on pretty easily with the brake caliper. I didn't have to take the whole thing apart. You can see this still creates some scratching noise, but this is normal. This is probably just from the brake pads. It's not from the actual hub assembly. Put these caliper bolt, but before I do that, I'm going to put some thread locker on this too, so that make sure that it doesn't come off. And for security reason, you definitely want to do that. Okay, you see, I got some thread locker on this, and I'm going to put up in. Flange bolt is 16 foot-pound. The caliper bracket bolt is 65 foot-pound. 65 foot-pound. So that's what we're going to use. 65 foot-pound. 65 foot-pound. Okay, let's see if I get this in. Clockwise. Okay. There you go. Here are the quicks. Okay, here we go. With my Protecton. But this is totally fine because compared to before when I took out the brake roller and the brake pad, you could definitely hear the scratching noise without the brake pad and the brake on it. So this is normal because the brake pad is scratching against the brake roller. That's why you're hearing this slight scratching noise. But after we took out the brake pad and the rotor, you can definitely hear it from the hub assembly. So the hub assembly definitely is going bad. So I'm gonna put back the wheel, and then I'm going to take it for a test drive, and then based on what I could hear from the test drive, I can tell you whether this has been fixed or not, and hopefully it is fixed. So I lowered the wheels and I tightened up all the lug nuts, and according to Honda specs, these are 94 foot-pound. As you can see, Everything is tight.